Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Gabe Galiothe with us, and Gabe is working in the Oakland market in multifamily. So Gabe, it's great to have you. This is an interesting topic of what's happening with Oakland these days. Maybe you can give us a little history of how you got into real estate and where we are now with the situation there in Oakland.
Sure. So I've been in real estate for a little over 12 years now. I went to college at Fresno State. I studied urban land development and real estate economics. And I had a couple different options on which avenue I wanted to take my career with that particular degree. I got an internship early on at NAI North Cal here in Oakland and started working as senior agent with brokerage. And I pretty much went on from there. And I worked in the East Bay, also worked in San Francisco as far as sales of apartment buildings. And right now in the East Bay market, I would say it's a little bit soft, just pretty much all across the board, just as far as real estate. But there's a lot of political play that's going on with ownerships that's causing a lot of owners to somewhat think of other areas to possibly run their business of multifamily property management. So there's a good amount of owners just waiting for the market to turn to get a little bit more profitable, a little bit more bang for their buck for their actual sales price. And then it's just not a lot of buyers are really willing to come into Oakland, but there is still a good amount of demand of people that want to come into Oakland because they see the potential of what Oakland will be in, say, 2026, 2027. So there is a good amount of stuff on the market, definitely one of the largest pool of listings in all the Bay Area right now compared to San Francisco. But there's not that many deals because of interest rates, just the politics of Oakland and just everything that's going on. But I can definitely see Oakland turning around to be what it was in 2016, 2017, coming in the next year or two. Once the things just clear up as far as interest rates and everything that's going on with Oakland, with the politics and police things, and people are going to start definitely picking up these properties that some of these older owners that don't want to do the legwork that needs to be done at the city of Oakland. And then these younger investors to start snatching up some of these properties here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, so it's a great market if you have cash and you can kind of hold out and wait for the market to turn around. It sounds like a great time to buy.
Yes, definitely so. Like I've looked at a couple of properties myself, and I know Oakland. I'm definitely not afraid of Oakland, but it needs to be a buyer that knows Oakland, not afraid of Oakland, see the potential of what Oakland is, and essentially it is right across the bridge from San Francisco, so people will see the value of it. But it's just more of understanding there is a lot of red tape with the city of Oakland, so you just got to understand how to navigate that and how to see a success at the end of the tunnel.
So how do you think the new mayor is doing?
It's been, I want to say, let's say 3 or 4 months right now. Oakland is a tenant-friendly city, so depending on who you ask, they might have different opinions of it. Me personally, I think she's trying to do the best that she can with what she has in front of her. She did come into the place with a lot of stuff that's not doing great, and unfortunately, the police chief just ended up resigning from his position, I believe, last week. So just those type of news are not the best because that particular police chief did a great job. Crimes is down, I want to say 30%. Murders are down as well. Car break-ins are down. And that was causing a lot of these vacancies that was going on in downtown Oakland. And when stores, restaurants, bars are leaving the area, that also trickles down to just the rent costs of just apartments here in Oakland. So I personally feel like the mayor has a tall task to embrace with the city of Oakland. It is early. She has great plans. I just really hope that she executes these plans in the next year or two. But like I said, it is still early. It's only been in there for a couple of months, so it's more of a wait and see how everything comes out after our first year.
Yeah, kind of a shame that the police chief resigned, but anyway, maybe they'll get a replacement that will work hopefully as well.
I mean, if you look that gentleman up, he's known for going into different cities and states and turning around their police force. He's normally staying for about 2 years. I think he recently came from Texas, and then I want to say he was from a different city in the Midwest or something like that. But I know he recently came from a city in Texas. He lowered crime rates. He lowered crime. He pretty much turned around their police force and things like that. So he essentially did what he needed to do. Like from his history, I didn't think he was going to stay for 10, 15 years. So it definitely given the next person a good head start to just keep on operating what he's done for the city of Oakland. Hopefully, continue in a positive path for Oakland.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I know one of our fellow Rotarians over here, Susan Mannheimer, she's was the police chief for San Mateo, and she did some interim work over in Oakland for a little while until
Yeah,
they put the new police chief in place.
yeah.
But anyway, I think things are headed in the right direction. Do you think there's starting to be a little bit of spillover from San Francisco starting to happen?
I think we're at the very, very beginning of the spillover because recently it just said that San Francisco has gone back to the before the pandemic rent amount. So now the fallover is going to start coming to the West Oakland, to the downtown Oakland areas and things like that. I don't think it's like I said. I think it's fairly just starting. And I think at the beginning of this year is when we're going to really start seeing the price points start to kind of creep up. Prices for especially rents and just cost of price per square feet did lower and stabilize a little bit within the last year or two. But I definitely think the beginning of next year would be the time where things will start seeing a reaction of the spillover from San Francisco to investors, renters, retail occupants, and things like that into the East Bay of West Oakland, downtown Oakland, North Oakland, Emeryville, and places like that.
Yeah, no, I think Oakland's definitely on the upswing now. I mean, hopefully they've kind of hit the point where they're going to start crawling back up a little bit. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and that's going to benefit literally everybody. It's going to benefit tenants. It's going to benefit owners. It's going to benefit restaurant goers and all of that. So it's definitely a win when Oakland is being used in a positive way and things like that. It's just more things to do. Is more places to live. Is more people occupying these different spaces that has closed down, and it could just be the cost of rent, the reason why they closed down, and it could just be crime because Oakland was having a lot of car break-ins and just activities. And now with the mayor cleaning things up and rent starting to stabilize, it's going to start becoming a beautiful city once again.
Yeah, no, I mean, pre-pandemic, it was the hot spot to be in for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it was, and then unfortunately the pandemic kind of didn't do very well in Oakland, but
Mhm.
things seem to be coming back now, so that's great. So for the buyers out there in the audience that are looking for some places to put their cash, the Oakland might be the spot to
Yes.
consider for sure.
Yes. Yes. You definitely could get a lot of good real estate here in the East Bay. The price per unit, price per square feet has lowered. You're looking at a lot of deals that are sub 200K for price per unit, and that's downtown Oakland, off of Broadway. A lot of nice buildings of 15 units to 20 unit buildings are getting on the market for sub 200K a unit, and that's
Wow.
at six caps, 6.5 caps, seven caps, nine GRM, 8.5 GRMs, and these numbers are before 2015. You haven't seen these numbers like that, or even like maybe you have to go into East Oakland past Seminary, but you're definitely seeing some good returns on a lot of nice real estate here in the Bay Area. So if there was a buyer that was interested in Oakland and see what's going on and could be able to park their cash and into Oakland, I definitely would look at those particular areas, especially around the lake as well too. You could find some pretty good deals around there.
Yeah, but from the lake on up to Piedmont, there's some beautiful properties in there.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for people to take a look at things.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely so. And then, I mean, even if you want to get a little bit more East Oakland, going around Park Boulevard, 14th Avenue, around the 580 Laurel Diamond District, going to Fruitvale, you're still getting some good returns, still nice areas. You could get to downtown Oakland within 5 minutes. You could get to San Francisco within 15 to 20 minutes. You still are going to see some good deals, good return on these particular real estate as well too. So there is a lot of stuff in that areas of East Oakland, North Oakland, around Piedmont, and West Oakland, right by the last exit before you get to San Francisco.
How's Berkeley doing these days?
Berkeley is strong. There's a lot of investors that are investing into Berkeley. There's a lot of new ordinances going on to where you could be able to add ADUs in the back of your single family properties. And of course, you have UC Berkeley that's right there. So a lot of investors have been investing in just different lands, redevelopment site around the college. And so that particular area is a little bit more of a premium because you have the college there. You have very high demand in that particular area where in East Oakland for a one bedroom, you might could get around $1,600. Around the college, you could get 2,000, and that probably even close to like 22 to 2,300 for 600, 650 square feet, one bedroom. And so investors see that particular return and are investing in student housing, investing in development site to where they could build their different properties in Berkeley. So very strong market, very tough market to get into because of the price points. There's a good amount of stuff that's on the market, not as much as Oakland, but it's a definite great market to be in for investors.
Well, and going into Oakland, what's the difference in rent control in Oakland versus is there much rent control well, there's rent control in Berkeley versus Oakland.
They're going to have similar rent controls. Units have to be registered in Berkeley. That's going to be the main difference. There's a couple of different laws as far as tenants is like, let's say if you want to buy out a tenant, you do have to register with the Berkeley Rent Board. They have a particular amount minimum for buyouts and things like that. Oakland's a little bit more lax on that particular part, where you just have your lawyer just negotiate the particular price points and things like that. But so there's good similarities in Oakland and Berkeley's with very subtle registry requirements for Berkeley.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So which are you saying Berkeley's easier or more difficult than Oakland?
I would say Berkeley's more difficult.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought I was thinking.
Yeah, Berkeley's more difficult. Oakland is difficult as well too, but it's just very subtle differences between Berkeley and Oakland.
So if you go south of Oakland, how's that market?
South of Oakland is fine. You're going to be in San Lorenzo, Hayward, Castro Valley, Fremont. There is no city rent control currently as of today in those cities until you get down to San Jose. But there is state rent control in the state of California. So in the state rent control, they defer to city laws in case they have things that are stricter. So like if you are in Oakland, rental increase right now for this year is 0.8%, 0.08% of the rent amount. But if you are in, let's say, Emeryville, El Cerrito, or other areas, it just depends on the appreciation of the actual rent itself plus 5%. So it just all depends on what city you are and what different laws they particularly have. So I would say just the south of Oakland, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, those places, Castro Valley, Fremont, going there. There's not a lot of things that goes on the market in those particular cities because they don't have rent control. So those are a little bit harder to get into because you might have 3 or 4 buildings in the whole city on the current market right now. If you look on MLS or LoopNet versus Oakland and Berkeley and San Francisco and Richmond, rent control cities, but a lot more activity goes on in those cities.
I assume Alameda is still very hard to get into.
Yeah. Alameda is still hard because of just the demand to live there, the demand to own there. That's also another city that's not rent control. The school zone is definitely premium, so that makes the rent premium as well too versus Oakland as well. So, but Alameda is definitely one of the hardest cities to get into, similar to single family as Oakland and Alameda as well too.
Well, in Emeryville, what's happening in Emeryville these days? It was sort of the high tech hub there for a little while.
Yeah, I would still say it's the same high tech hub. Emeryville is a beautiful city to have Bay Street where they're having a lot of new development going on there. They have a new grocery store. They have Bay Street where you have the Apple store. a lot of different restaurants and retail spaces. So that has a good demand. A lot of people like that particular city. It is one stop from San Francisco as well, just coming from a different direction. They have a lot of cool buildings. They have a lot of industrial style lofts, type of spaces off of 40th Avenue and things like that. So Emeryville is a good, pretty good demand for renters. They don't have as many apartment buildings in that particular city. It's just a smaller city. But if you can find something in there, those go fairly quickly, and the price point will be a lot higher than Oakland, kind of closer to what price points will be in Berkeley. So definitely there's a good amount of demand for Emeryville, and I'm sure if I looked online right now to see how many buildings are for sale in Emeryville, will probably be a handful of that.
Yeah, just a few kind
yeah,
of.
Yeah.
Well, I assume BART ridership is starting to really perk up again.
Yeah. BART has been picking up because similar to what before 2020, if you were to live a little bit in the outskirts, but still work in downtown Oakland or downtown San Francisco, you can essentially get to the city in about 30 minutes or so, 35, if you're coming from, let's say, Emeryville, not Emeryville, El Cerrito or Richmond. So BART riders have been getting a little more active. I used to catch BART before the pandemic, but now I drive to my office because my office is in the East Bay before it was in San Francisco. So I don't personally see it, but my wife still does catch BART going in the city. And demand has been growing. Parking lots have been a lot more full than it was in early 2000, 2020, 2021, 2022. So BART has definitely been picking up. And then you're also seeing a lot of development and new plan for development around these BART hubs. So like I'm by the North Berkeley BART station, and there's a planning to be able to develop their parking lot where they only have a one level parking area for North Berkeley BART station, but they're looking to redevelop that particular one level BART parking lot into housing and essentially have some BART parking underneath that new construction development. I'm not sure exactly where those plans are at, if they've been improved or not, but I have been seeing a couple articles of people just having different plans to be able to develop that particular lot.
Oh, that's interesting. So I know our son lives in Oakland and he takes the ferry across to South City.
Okay.
And, that is a very enjoyable commute to make.
Right.
So you just go down to Jack London Square and kind of jump on the ferry and off you go. So
Yeah,
very,
and I'm pretty sure it might even be faster for him to just take a ferry to get to South City versus getting on BART around the Fruitvale area and going kind of all around through downtown, then to get in the South. So they kind of balance out because I'm sure the ferry doesn't go that fast. But I mean that's probably a nice, enjoyable ride for him. But I mean a lot of people do that where they get on the ferry from different points. There's Jack London. There's one in I think in around the San Leandro area, and there's another one up north, like Richmond, to be able to get to the ferry towards North Beach area to get onto the San Francisco side of the bay. But I mean, I'm sure that's a pretty good ride for your son and other people.
yeah, they actually found it was quicker to jump on if
Yeah.
they didn't take the ferry, it was actually quicker to jump on the bus to go into San Francisco. And
Wow. Okay.
so that worked out better for them. But, you
Yeah.
know, I think the mass transit and the buses and all those different options are starting to fill up and people are starting to go back in the office. So hopefully that's going to generate some more demand, particularly
Yeah.
downtown Oakland and so forth.
Yeah, and I definitely see that happening because at the end of the day, a lot of people found out with the pandemic, you can still do your work if you are working from home, but the collaboration of being in the office, being in the conference room, being able to overhear people working on different things, it gives a little bit of a different environment for just your work life. Like me personally, I like being in the office. I feel like I focus a little bit more because it's very easy to get distracted at home, but like the person sitting next to me might work a little bit better at home if that's just more what they do. But essentially, that's what's going to just drive more people into the office and being able to commute and have the better commute to be able to work through the office and things like that.
No, I think that's exactly right. So, well, so this is fantastic. I think we should reconvene again in after the new year and see how things are perking up further in Oakland.
Yes,
It'd be
yes,
great to
definitely.
talk
So
again.
I'm excited to see where the market goes, especially for the multifamily commercial, just in the East Bay, seeing where interest rates continue. Hopefully, fingers crossed, seeing where interest rates land by next year, and just seeing what the demand will cause for these beds, because I feel like it's a breaking point for a lot of owners that are in their 60s and 70s and just tired of the day-to-day management, but the price point is just too low because they missed out in 2021 and 2022, so they're waiting till 2026, 2027 to get their valuation as close as they can to be ready to just pull the trigger and let it go and move into triple nets, move into different options in their retirement and kind of go from there. So definitely excited to see what's going to happen in the beginning of the year.
So for buyers out there looking for Oakland properties or Berkeley or Emeryville, where can they get a hold of you, Gabe?
Yes, my email is going to be Gabriel Galiothe at compass.com. Or you could be able to send me a text. My phone number is 510-387-6820. Feel free to pick my brain, ask me whatever question that you have. Send me an email or anything like that. Or if you have a property that you just have and don't know what to do with, let's chat. I could be able to let you know, is it time to possibly market it now, or what can you do to get it prepared for 2026 and 2027 to sell it then? So feel free to reach out and let's chat and have a conversation about it.
Sounds great. All right. Well, I want to keep in touch and see how things are going here.
Definitely, me too.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.